Welcome, students. Today, let's talk about past tense of verbs. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to distinguish the different forms of past tense, form the past tense of verbs, and use the correct form of the past tense in the given sentences. Past tense is a verb tense that is used to talk about things that happened or existed before now. There are three commonly used forms. One is the simple past form, the progressive form, and the emphatic form. Let's start with the simple past form. The simple past form is used for completed past action. For regular verbs like decide, arranged, and opt, take the D or ED form. So they become decided, arranged, and opted. For irregular verbs like choose, tell, and eat, change in spelling to indicate their past form. For regular verbs, we have listen, listened, knock, knocked, close, closed, claim, claimed. You have noticed that these verbs change their past form by adding D or ED. So that's why we call them as regular verbs. For irregular verbs, we have catch, caught, make, made, eat, ate, teach, thought. So you have noticed that for irregular verbs, they actually change their spelling when changing them into their past form. Let us have here sentence samples. My brother received a surprise package from his friends. So for our verb here, we have received. Okay, notice that our verb here change its past form by adding D only at the end. So for sentence number two, I understood the lesson about water cycle after viewing the YouTube presentation. So here our verb in its past form is understood. So understood is considered to be an irregular verb. Let's move on to the past progressive form. The past progressive form indicates a continuing past action. It is also formed by using the past tense of the verb to be, like was and were, and the ing form of the verb. For verbs with singular subject, you should be able to use this formula. We have was plus ing form of the verb. For example, in our sentence here, I was doing my math homework when the lights went out. So here the subject in the sentence is I. Since we are only talking about the speaker, then we consider I as a singular subject. So that's why it should be paired with was. And then your verb here should be added with ing. So that's why you have there doing. So you should say I was doing. All right? Now let's move on. Another example, we have Gina was baking some cookies when the visitors came. So here, the doer of the action was baking would be Gina. So Gina is considered to be a singular subject. So it should be paired with was, and your verb should end with ing. So that's why you have there was baking. Let's continue. For verbs with plural subject, you should be able to use this formula. We have where plus ing form of the verb. For example, they were writing the report when the electricity went off. So notice that in this sentence, your subject is they. They is considered to be a plural subject. So therefore, it should be paired with where. And your verb should be on its ing form. So you have there writing. All right. Now let's continue. So here in our second sentence, the subject is we. We is considered to be a plural subject. So it should be paired with where, and your verb should be on its ing form. So you have there watching. Another thing that you have to remember is that these two tenses are used to indicate that an action happened while another one was in progress. So, here in our sentences earlier, you have noticed that we have two verbs here. We have was doing and then went. So, was doing here is considered to be an action that was in progress, and the other one has already completed in the past. So we have went. Okay, it's also the same with sentence 2 and sentence 3. So was baking here was an action in progress, and the other one has completed already. And the other one was completed already in the past. Same as through with our sentence 3, where watching was an action in progress and the other one has completed already in the past. Now let's move on to the third one, which is the emphatic form. The emphatic form provides emphasis in questions and in positive and negative statements. So, regardless your subject is singular or plural, you should be able to use this formula, which is did plus the base form of the verb. For positive statement, for example, we have I did enjoy the movie. So here I is considered to be a singular subject. It is paired with did just to give emphasis to what you are saying. Now, what about if it's a negative statement? If it's a negative statement, you just need to add the word not. So you have here, I didn't. I didn't enjoy the movie. What about if it's a question? Now, here, if it's a question, you have to start it with did, added with your subject. We have you, regardless if it's singular or plural, and then your verb should be on its base form. For our verb here, we have enjoy. So I hope so that this time everything is clear to you. Again, we have the three different forms of past tense. We have the simple past, the progressive past form, and lastly, we have the emphatic form. That would be all. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see each other again in our next video. Bye for now.